So now let's talk about the fourth important agricultural system that is used around the world or practiced around the world. So in my past videos or last videos, we talk about the nomadic herding, shifting cultivation, and intensive subsistence agriculture. So now the next one is the commercial dairy farming. So, dairy farming is a type of agriculture that involves the long-term production of milk, which is then processed either on the farm or at dairy plant, both of which can be referred to as dairy. For the eventual sale of dairy product, despite the fact that any mammal can produce milk, commercial dairy farms are typically one species operations. Dairy farms in developed countries are typically made up of high-producing dairy cows, goats, sheep, water buffaloes, and camels are also used in the commercial dairy farming. It was originated in Europe and spread to other parts of the world. So the two favorable factors are proximity to the market and a temperature climate. Countries such as Denmark and Sweden have seen the most growth in this type or in this kind of farming. So, the main characteristic of commercial dairy farming is that it is a capital intensive as well as it is labor intensive. Dairy farming has a long history in many parts of Europe and Africa, dating back to the early Neolithic area around the 7th millennium BC. Milking was done by hand on small farms prior to the 20th century. Milking was done in a large-scale dairy farm beginning in the early 20th century with innovations such as rotary parlors, the milking pipeline, and automatic milking system that were commercially developed in the early 1990s. Milk preservation methods have improved since the late 19th century with the introduction of refrigeration technology such as the direct expansion refrigeration and the plate heat exchanger. These methods of culling allowed dairy farms to preserve milk by reducing spoilage caused by bacterial growth and humidity. Leading dairy industry in many countries around the world including India, the United States, China, and New Zealand serve as important milk producers, exporters, and importers. According to the FAO, total milk production has generally increased since the late 20th century, with approximately 827,884,000 tons of milk produced in 2017. The ever-expanding agricultural mode has several advantages over subsistence farming. So here are the few examples of its advantages. The increased production or yield rate of the crops is a well-known advantages because commercial farming makes use of machinery and electricity in which it increases power supply to areas in farming lands neighborhoods. It contributes to the improvement of local infrastructure. With increased production, agricultural goods prices fall, making them more affordable to each one of us. Also, it aids in meeting demand and supply. Instead, goods are stocked in case of an emergency, as well as it aids in the creation of various jobs available where experts are hired to improve production as well as the whole economy. While its disadvantages are that commercial farming is destroying the natural rainforest in order to increase the area of production land. It is best to cultivate in areas that are covered by rainforests. Deforestation has a negative impact on the environment in which when forest is removed just to cultivate crops, lands for commercial farming are sold at a higher prices, in which making it possible for the new farmers to purchase the land and begin farming again. The main culprit is that commercial agriculture, which promotes fertilizer, pesticide, and other chemical just to protect crops from insect attacks. However, these chemicals pose a significant threat to humanity, to our health, as well as to the whole environment. In conclusion, commercial dairy farming is a significant source of supplementary income for small or marginal farmers and agricultural laborers. Livestock farming is a good source of organic matter for improving soil fertility and crop yields. The dung gas is used as fuel for domestic purposes as well as to power engines that draw water from wells. Dairy farming is critical to many local economies as well as global economies. More parts of the world are also becoming more dependent on the dairy industry for nutrition. While there is room for improvement, dairy farming remains an important industry in today's world. So, and that would be all for commercial dairy farming.